Greetings, I'm Agielet Valierre, crypto-linguistic navigator and virtual companion. Today, we'll be going back to Lunar Draconic because I had a lot of fun yesterday, and if my methodology differs from how you would approach it or what is generally done in Sound, that's okay. At least you should be able to see where we differed and make the adjustments based on your preferences. But by the end of this, there should be a riddle that you'll be able to use. In the last video, these were the sources that we used to sort of establish our baseline. So if you haven't seen the last one, please do go check it out. I kind of go over what each of these contributions are. And we're also going to be adding a couple new ones this time. The Shop of Many Things is what has supplied us with the riddle that we're going to convert into Draconic, and Pixel Sagas gave us the font for the final product. This is what we did last time, including the basic Draconic vocabulary that's in the Draconomicon. So we had a.gi.əl.ɛ, which was our formal greeting, a.gi.əl.ɛ, which is our pejorative greeting, a.gi.əl.ɛ, an informal greeting, but like archaic, more people informally would use jex, meaning things like kobolds and dragonborn. a.gi.əl.ɛ would be an informal pejorative, so you are informal, but you think you're better than everyone else, or at least better than who you're talking to right now. And then we'd have id corthire, we could be dangerous together. That's many of the things we covered last time. I thought it was weird to have a pejorative formal greeting, but not a deferential greeting, right? So in the last one, I sort of said that a.gi.əl.ɛ, we are blessed, might be the opening for somebody trying to establish kinship with the dragon. But if they already know, they're saying like this sort of, oh, great one sort of greeting because they're very aware of the relationship. Maybe they would say a.gi.əl.ɛ, I am blessed, which was the ending that I added at the end for the I am construction. Similarly, we might have a.gi.əl.ɛ. It's an informal deferential greeting. I thought about this because you might have somebody who's like a monk, a dragonborn monk might use a.gi.əl.ɛ. They're still being informal in the scenario, but they're more prone to differential. I don't know that I think jix and jux would be the best, but that would be where I would naturally go shorter because that is what will contrast really nicely with jex. So I realized we needed to flesh out the whole declension. We have a.gi.əl.ɛ that we made this video, a.gi.əl.ɛ, our first person plural, a.gi.əl.ɛ, our second person singular. So let's add a.gi.əl.ɛ, you all are blessed, our second person plural. Then we might have a.gi.əl.ɛ, he, she, they singular are blessed, our third person singular, and a.gi.əl.ɛ, they, plural, are blessed. The references do state that we need a lot of sibilants such as s and th, so that's sort of where those came from, and then a.gi.əl.ɛ is just a nice contrast. Once again, we're having fun, so we're just making decisions where we need to make decisions. And so our actual endings there are u, a, im, is, ith, and on. So what we are looking at with these is copula formations. I am, we are, you are, those are copula. Sometimes we need it to attach to the actual verb. And since I had already buried myself in this corner, I had to figure out how to get out of it. So if we want to say I am fire, we might say ya exenu. If we want to say I breathe fire, then we're going to add that u to the breathe. Ya faru ixin, I breathe fire. And if we have this construction where it's mostly a copula, but then it's prepositional, I am on fire, ya shaferu exin. If we take that a step further, we would have wux exenim, you are fire, wux farim exin, you breathe fire, wux shafarim exin, you are on fire, which led me to yid shafare exim, we are on fire, which you could use as your exclamation as everyone's doing really well. I think in that case you would definitely shorten to shafire exin, we are on fire, or talking to another individual, shafire mixin, you are on fire, you're doing great. So let's do a riddle. That's something you could add to your game, and one of your players that speaks Draconic might have a lot of fun with it. You saw me where I never was and where I could not be, and yet within that very place, my face you often see. So we have our third person singular, our second person singular. We made irai out of tomorrow last video. Then we have ukrir. We have vur, sherit, gethrish, shafer. But we're going to need to shore up our past tense, our negative, our where, never, that, place, face, and often. EX and IX were actually the past tense marker on crippled and enchanted. So we're going to keep those. The unfortunate part was that both of those are voice consonants in those, so I couldn't exactly figure out which case this should be. So I kind of just picked the one that sounded better to me, which ultimately is how I think it would work out. So we actually did already have a negative modifier, thrik. It means no, but it's also used for not. Dragonborns have thrik at the after dragon to mean not a dragon, which is super nice, I'm sure. For me, we just used ya. So we kept the first person singular the same in the nominative case and the accusative case. We're still missing where and that. But for place, there is a place name suffix, ia, and I thought it would be simple enough just to add a consonant before the ia to go from the suffix to the full word, and fia kind of had a nice ring to it in place. Still missing face. There wasn't anything. There wasn't head. There was some things that were like the head of an organization, and I thought about making that face, but that seemed a little bit weird to me. Now, for often, well, we have the word normal, month, and by Thariel's example, friend and friendly are the same, so I figured we can imagine that normal and normally would be the same as well. All right, so now we're going to fill in those gaps. For where, I went with svo, because we need to keep sibilance, and it said there's a lot of SV words, but there weren't in the dictionary a lot of SV words. For za, I thought that was a really good thing in place for that, which is a very common word. And for face, I went with tak, because it said there was a lot of ach words, and there wasn't that many ach words. So just filling in the gaps of what they say there should be. Alright, so we had hello, but where's our goodbye? I mean, I have to be able to end this video somehow, right? So for goodbye, I decided to start with travel. And then adding our ending, we have asularim, and then perhaps we would just make it simply travel in peace. Osalurim persvek martivir. Travel in peace. Kind of roughly equivalent to God be with you, which is what used to be the full phrase that became goodbye. So let's do that same transformation we did before. And we might have osol pramarti. Osol pramarti. So you're leaving osol pramarti. Sounds almost a little bit like a weird kind of Italian, I think. And then we have pramarti, meaning bye. Now, a regular person might leave it there. Pramarti, that's pretty small, but we're gonna go the next and very, very important steps. That's right. Marti, just being like peace, which funny enough is using just peace at that point. And somebody cute might go Marti Marti for bye bye, or they might go Pramarti Marti. So that's where we're gonna be. The full, elegant asalurim persvek martivir. The smaller asal pramarti, then to pramarti, just marti, marti marti, and pramarti marti. So a very nice pramarti marti to you, and thank you for listening. I hope you had fun, and I hope you can use some of that in some way, or just enjoyed it enough. For now, though, systems offline.